Center in downtown Minneapolis, home of the Minnesota Timberwolves. But today, it's a house of Huskies and Volunteers.
And the national championship game is underway. The tip controlled by the UConn Huskies in white. Rebecca Lobo, the National Player of the Year. Waste no time in scoring. 8 seconds in, UConn is on the board.
The biggest thing is going to be in that post position, how many points are going to be scored by each team, because that's where they get a lot of points, is from their post players.
Marciniak, wide open, Latina Davis. And full court pressure after the made field goal by Tennessee. Now they drop back into man-to-man.
Really good skip pass by Marciniak, seeing Davis over on the baseline.
And Weber passes to her roommate Lobo, off to Walters.
It's going to be a real up-tempo game, so it's going to be important as far as both teams getting back transition defense.
And depth may well be an issue in this one, given that the two teams played yesterday and are coming back on less than 24 hours rest. Right back into Walters. She thought she was fouled. Here comes McCray working on Rosati. And a foul for a push on Jen Rosati. Nikki McCray will shoot two.
Tennessee came out to practice and worked on fronting Walters. Passion Thompson is guarding her, and they're looking for the lob pass, and then you see the double team right away, and that time Walters brought the ball down. Johnson knocks it away, and it's going to be a double team for Tennessee all day long against Walters. She's going to have to be working very hard down there.
Nikki McCray, the SEC Player of the Year. Didn't get the bounce on the first free throw. She was the leading scorer in yesterday's win over Georgia. Had 22 points to go with 8 rebounds for Pat Summitt. 1 out of 2 for McCray. It's 4-3 Connecticut. Just more than a minute played here in Minneapolis. Weber, the all-time assist leader at Connecticut, and also the all-time leader in games played. Pam's played in 131 now at UConn. All along Rosati, great pass by Jamel Elliott.
And with Weber, that's coming from the number 2 position. She has not played point guard. For her to come up with those assists is pretty amazing. And this team, they are very team-oriented as far as passing the ball. The Huskies are.
We saw plenty of examples of that yesterday. McCray, rebound, Passion Thompson. And she scores. Thompson missed 13 games this year with a foot injury, including both Tennessee losses in the regular season game against Connecticut and in the SEC championship loss to Vanderbilt. And she just got called for a foul for a hold in the post.
Well, she's worn that number 44 very proudly. They've had some other big names. Trish Roberts, who was an Olympian and All-American. She's coach at Michigan now. Cindy Brogdon, Lee Henry, all Olympians for Pat Summitt and All-Americans.
It's considered an honor at Tennessee to wear the number 44. Ball kicked out of bounds. 30 seconds on the shot clock for Connecticut. They lead 6-5. Rosati, her three-pointer, rimmed out. And here comes Latina Davis with McCray on the wing. McCray. Marciniak for Davis. Well defended by Elliott. 17 to shoot for Tennessee. Dana Johnson. Blocked from behind by Walters.
You think there's got to be a 3 seconds in there something, or they got the travel.
Passion Thompson had the ball and took steps. Second turnover committed by the Lady Vols.
Good penetration by Marciniak to get the ball down in the post. And look at Johnson's really intimidated by the post players there, and she gets it knocked away from Walters. And there's a little walk by Thompson.
And again, the three-quarter court man-to-man pickup by Tennessee.
Tara Vanderveer had commented about the free throws that Stanford had yesterday. 3 of 5, and Connecticut shot 46, a new NCAA record. But Stanford really did not go at Connecticut.
And Rosati went right at the Tennessee defense. And she has 4. UConn up 8-5.
Tennessee's the type of team, though, that can get to the free throw line because they draw fouls.
Stanford's game, particularly when they got behind quickly yesterday, was strictly on the perimeter.
No question, and they were not hitting the shots, but here's a great move by Jen Rosati, getting Davis to kind of get off her feet, and she took the advantage, taking it to the basket.
Jamel Elliott had a strong game yesterday in the win over Stanford, 21 points.
Tennessee in this defensive set doing a good job keeping the ball out of their guards' hands. Jamel Elliott had to bring the ball up, and they had to have her start the offense.
And she did it well. The ball wound up with Rebecca Lobo, who was fouled by Dana Johnson, her first foul. Rules differences between the men's game and the women's. 30-second shot clock as compared to 35 for the men. The ball's an inch smaller, 2 ounces lighter. No 10 seconds in the backcourt. No double bonus after 10 team fouls. The coach can ask for a timeout, and it will be granted. And only 2 officials work NCAA tournament game. In some conferences during the regular season, there are 3 officials in women's basketball, and I know many coaches feel that's a change that should be made next year.
I think that's going to be a big difference. You've got to see it in the national championship. I mean, it's almost a joke that it's not there. And Dee Cantor, one of the best. I mean, both these officials are 2 of the best working, and Dee Cantor has a chance to work the NBA. She's been invited to work in the NBA maybe next summer, at least this summer up in Utah in their pro league.
Yeah, to look at Dennis and Ruth Ann Lobo, Rebecca's parents, 10-5 for Connecticut, their largest lead. 3.5 minutes played here in Minneapolis, the women's national championship game. Latina Davis, long with the jumper from the corner. She got it back. And did not get the bounce. Dana Johnson powers up, blocked by Lobo.
Great hustle by Tennessee to get 2 and 3 shots at the basket.
Lakeisha Tales just off the bench. Rebound Lobo, and she was fouled. And that's 2 quick fouls on Dana Johnson. And that's potentially a problem for Tennessee. Dana Johnson, the leading scorer for the Lady Vols, 13 Associated Press All-American this year.
As you can see, both teams love to run. And here's a good shot by Sales. And look at Lobo, out of nowhere. Johnson does not get blocked out. They're going to call it on Thompson reaching in, but Lobo out of nowhere coming in for the big rebound.
It was on Thompson, and that's the problem as well. Her second, and she has taken a seat, replaced by Vonda Ward, number 24. Rebecca Lobo admitted that she did not have her best performance in the regionals in Gampel Pavilion and Stores, but she bounced back yesterday.
And, you know, really, the Virginia game against Connecticut was a boost. They were scared. They didn't know whether they'd come back, in the sense Geno did. And they really put things together. And then when Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament, that made them a better team.
6-0 run for Connecticut. They've opened up a 7-point lead. McCray, high archer that came up short. Elliott the rebound. And Marciniak intercepted Rosati's pass and pulls up for 2. First point for Marciniak. It's a 5-point Huskies lead.
The defense of the Lady Vols.
Sales wanted a pass, but Walters was covered, so threw up a runner and banked it home for her first point.
She was under control, wasn't she?
They talk about how she has just about every shot in the book and invents some frequently in practice. Marciniak missed a 3. Vonda Ward, and she'll go to the line with a chance for a 3-point play.
And trying to get the volunteer fans right into it. After that play, she's got her hands raised, and there's a lot of Tennessee fans here. This has been hurting Connecticut in the first half so far as second and third chances by the Lady Vols. Vonda Ward into the game, comes up with a nice offensive rebound, and she's pretty happy about it.
She's a part of this great senior class for Tennessee that's in the national championship and Final Four for the first time. 4-point lead for Connecticut. Well, those who follow Tennessee Lady Vols basketball will tell you that Pat Summitt has mellowed over the years, but in this national championship game, she was venting her frustration with Michelle Marciniak. Michelle made a nice play, a steal, but then fired up a quick 3, and Pat didn't like it. As was the case yesterday, UConn has come out on fire from the floor. They're 5 out of 7. Lobo tried to force it a pass, and it was picked off. Marciniak nearly retreated to the three-point line. It's a 4-point lead for Connecticut, 5 minutes played.
Both these teams had an hour for practice. Connecticut did not walk things through. Tennessee did. And I was out here watching their defense, and they came up with a steal. Obviously, Connecticut with a steal, too.
Rosati out of control, and Marciniak stepped in and picked up the charge call against Rosati.
You see Van der Waard, good position, and Lobo gets great position, just extends that left arm, and Ward shoots right into it.
That's pretty impressive. She didn't even have to leave her feet to block a shot from a player who stands 6'6".
That's why she's such a good shot blocker. Second in the nation.
And the foul on Rosati, her second, and she has gone to the bench. Carla Berube is checked in, wearing number 31 for UConn. And if Connecticut has a weakness, they don't have a lot of depth at the point position. That's not Berube's ordinary spot. Johnson fouled, and she had something to say in the direction of Walters as she walked toward the free throw line.
Well, right now, Tennessee has just controlled the offensive board. Does not enable Connecticut to get a chance to run the break because they cannot get a defensive board. Coming into this walk-around practice, Tat said, look, I want my perimeter players to rebound, but that doesn't mean my post players aren't going to go in there, too. And there you see Dana Johnson say, yeah, you're fouling me. But you give credit to Johnson as far as attacking the defense of Connecticut and trying to draw fouls.
Foul was charged to Lobo, her first. Dana Johnson, a double-double yesterday in the win over Georgia. 11 points and 11 rebounds, and she led Tennessee in scoring in the regular season game against Connecticut. She had 14 points.
She did not shoot the ball well yesterday, but she's on a mission to prove that she is just as good an All-American as anybody else that was selected.
Tennessee trailed by 7. Now they're within 2 and applying pressure in the backcourt. Elliott gives the ball to Nikisha Sales, the Big East Rookie of the Year. Drains a 3. And she has 5 off the bench. She's a freshman from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Vonda Ward off the entry pass from McCray. Count it. And Vonda Ward has another chance for a three-point play.
Tennessee really swinging the ball well. Look at Van der Waard wide open on the side of Lobo and Walters. They don't even get their arms out. They're extended high. They're not extended wide. And look at a great pass inside. Ward with a nice little pump fake. Lobo knew she had the foul. Didn't want it, but she's got 2 personal.
And foul trouble early for Connecticut. Lobo with 2, Rosati with 2. Only 6 minutes into the game. Vonda Ward made the free throw. She has 6 points off the bench and a turnover by UConn. Elliott had trouble with the inbound play.
In the win by Connecticut earlier in the season, Lobo did foul out of the game with a little over 4 minutes left.
5 turnovers by UConn now. Tennessee has handed it over 3 times. 2 to tie for the Lady Vols, and a 3-pointer would give them the lead. For the lead, Marciniak barely grazed the rim. Davis. Berube could not control. McCray did. McCray drives the baseline and travels.
Great aggressive play by Nikki McCray, though. Even though she gets called for the travel, Lobo is lucky because she was off her feet. Could have been called for a 3rd personal.
17-15 Connecticut. UConn has only taken 8 shots, but they've made 6 of them. Berube, nice pass. Elliott the easy 2. First points for Elliott, the junior from Washington, D.C., out of H.D. Woodson High School.
A big, solid game yesterday against Stanford. An unsung hero. Geno Auriemma feels that she's one of the players that really doesn't get enough credit on this team.
Latina Davis missed a 3. Scramble. UConn ball.
See Carla Berube, the sophomore, penetrating to the basket. A little out of control, trying to draw the foul of Davis, but a nice dish over to Elliott.
Connecticut has the ball in a 4-point lead. Tennessee has not enjoyed the lead in this game to this point. And a foul called for a moving screen. And they're looking at Lobo. And if it's on Lobo, it's number 3, and it is. She has 3 fouls with 12:50 remaining in the first half. And I'm a bit surprised that Geno Auriemma left her in with the 2 fouls this early in the game.
Well, she's such a smart player, but here they've been running this all season long, and she's rolling. And anytime you move off the roll, it's a moving screen. A lot of times, officials do not call that. So I'm kind of a little surprised at the call. But it is, in fact, a moving screen. And she's still in the game.
She continues to play with 3 fouls.
Connecticut has been in the zone.
5 on the shot clock. Davis knocks it in from the corner to get the Lady Vols back within 2.
Just a matter of time. What's happening in that 1-3-1 zone press that Connecticut has. Tennessee is working on the skip pass, throwing over the zone. You see that baseline jumper.
Berube handed it off to Walters. Walters looked tired. It wasn't that bad a pass. She just couldn't reach to field it.
And with Weber and Rosati out, you've got the 2 guards that really pass the ball well, know how to set up the offense, and we're going to see Rosati in, and that was the difference with Connecticut with those 2 players out.
Traveling the call against Pat Summitt's Lady Vols. Back to Minneapolis in a moment. Sean McDonough and Myers back at the national championship game. Connecticut has a 2-point lead, but major concerns with foul difficulty. Rebecca Lobo picked up her 3rd on a shaky moving pick call with 12:50 remaining in the first half. Passion Thompson is 2 for Tennessee. Lobo is now on the bench. Walters remains in the game. But they haven't had much success getting it in to Carol Walters, who was dominant inside yesterday against Stanford.
Tennessee's done a fabulous job on the offensive boards and going at Connecticut and their post players.
Tiffany Johnson is checked in wearing number 4 for Tennessee, and she contested the shot from Walters, who was fouled.
And Tennessee probably does have the edge as far as depth. They've got more bodies. They probably play 10 deep, where on the other hand, Connecticut is about 8 deep, but don't have the size of the players coming off the bench that the Lady Vols do.
It seems a little question that Tennessee is a bit deeper than Connecticut.
And as you said, too, Sean, it'll be interesting to see how the stamina goes as far as Carol Walters is concerned. 31 points yesterday, played a fabulous game. They were running, but Lobo was in the game, and everything was clicking. Probably the best game that the Huskies have played all season long. And right now, they're struggling a little bit, even though they are leading.
Walters played 33 minutes yesterday. Lobo played 37, despite the fact that the game was one-sided virtually throughout. Walters has 3 points, and that's the UConn lead nearly midway through the first half. McCray to miss. Latina Davis snuck in to keep it alive, and McCray gets the bounce. And Nikki McCray has 3 points. 1 point lead for Connecticut.
Huskies are going to have to do a better job boxing out Tennessee.
Sales to miss. McCray. A little bit out of control. Rosati got a hand on the ball. Then Marciniak bumped into Sales, and the foul's on Marciniak, her first.
You see Sales coming out of the pack, and Marciniak gets caught up and kind of a volleyball dive, but she didn't slide.
Michelle's a big fan of Michael Jordan. She plays with a picture of Michael Jordan in her sock.
Yeah, but she took it out when he went to baseball. Now it's back in there.
Berube. Air ball from 3-point range. Sales tried but couldn't save it. And Tennessee with a chance to claim the lead for the first time. Marciniak trying to high-step past Rosati. Rosati's playing with 2 fouls herself. Davis fouled. The officials calling this very tightly. Nakisha Sales whistled for that one. Her first. We mentioned the picture of Michael Jordan in Marciniak's shoe, and our crew gets all the shots. And today she has added a picture of the national championship trophy to give her added inspiration.
Now they have a sign in the Tennessee locker room that says, "Some teams have only the dream of winning. Lady Vols make their dreams a reality."
Well, they have 3 times under Pat Summitt. They won national titles in 87, 89, and 91. Latina Davis missed the front end of a 1-and-1. Connecticut's already over the limit. Less than midway through the first half.
Geno Auriemma feels that his team in the half-court set has to have their post players touch the ball, and they have not been getting it inside. Tennessee's packing it in.
10 on the shot clock. Ruby traveled.
Tennessee mixing up their defense. They're going into a man, then they're dropping into a zone and kind of switching off a little bit, and it's really confusing Connecticut. They're not getting the movement in their half-court set like when they have Lobo in the game.
Midway through the first half, Tennessee with another chance to take the lead for the first time. Michelle Johnson is in, 0-0. Von de Waard after Marciniak, and the Lady Vols are up by 1. In the Walters, and Ward called for bumping her from behind. Another foul that wasn't all that rough, but called nonetheless.
Good ball movement by the Lady Vols. Nice bounce pass in there, and then another bounce pass in the middle with Marciniak cutting to the basket. And you're not seeing that with Connecticut. Give credit to the Lady Vols as far as making some adjustments in their offense against the defense and the height of Connecticut.
Tennessee with 16 fouls, so not yet a 1-and-1. Pam Weber's back in and has the ball for UConn.
Pam Weber, kind of a silent player, passes the ball so well as we talked about, but she's going to have to get some scoring done for the Huskies also.
Jamel Elliott puts UConn back up by 1. She has 4 points. Michelle Johnson wasn't going to play at all this year, rehabbing her knees, which have kept her out of action for 2 years, also trying to get her academic house in order. When Tiffany Woosley went down for the year at the start of 1995, around the first of the year, Johnson went to Pat Summitt, said she wanted to play, and she was granted her wish. She played 23 games coming into the Final Four, and is now in the championship game. The men's national championship here on CBS Sports tomorrow night. Our coverage begins with Prelude to a Championship. Pat O'Brien and company on the air at 8 Eastern time with the preview show. And the tip time for Arkansas and UCLA, 8:42 Eastern. Lori Milligan is in for Michelle Marciniak. What a matchup that is. UCLA has won more national championships than any other school, and Arkansas trying to defend its title, which it won a year ago. Sales missed a 3. Elliott was fouled by Michelle Johnson, her first.
I think that's the first offensive rebound that Connecticut has had. Elliott sneaking in there, and it's a big play for Connecticut because you can see Tennessee just really packing it in and packing it in. Look at Elliott just sneak on the baseline because Ward was so concerned about Walters and blocking her out.
And Elliott goes to the line. Mentioned yesterday she's from Washington, D.C., and admitted she had a tough time adjusting to the green grass and the rural surroundings of the campus and stores, but she enjoys it now.
I asked her how come she wears 33. She goes, "Hey, Patrick Ewing. I like his game."
You would have seen Patrick up close when he played for Georgetown in her hometown of Washington, D.C. Jamel has 5 points. The Connecticut lead is 2. 8.5 left in the half. The teams have played dead even since Lobo went to the bench with 3 fouls. Tiffany Johnson, they call her Baby T, and the freshman missed a shot. Foul on Walters. Passion Thompson had excellent position inside, and now Walters has 2 fouls. Rosati with 2, and Lobo on the bench with 3 for Geno Auriemma.
Just you cannot give enough credit to the Lady Vols as far as how they're attacking the offensive boards. Connecticut's going to have to find something, especially in the second half, how to deter that.
Well, Tennessee is out-rebounding Connecticut by a margin of 12-6 to this point. Thompson made the first. Carla Berube returns to the action, and Walters gets the rest. Passion Thompson's from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Her mother, Ruby Jean, has made the drive from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Freshman, backup point guard, hails from the state of Oregon. Latina Davis, a three. And Davis, the junior from Winchester, Tennessee, has given the Lady Vols a 3-point lead, their largest.
Tennessee has just done a good job as far as their ball movement in the half court. They're really looking for that skip pass and knowing exactly where Connecticut's moving on their zone defense.
Berube, the turnaround, nicely done. Her first points of the game. Milligan guarded by Rosati. Milligan's a Dean's List student. Was in her first semester in the fall on the Knoxville campus. 7 seconds to shoot. Milligan came up short, rebounded by Sales. Sales couldn't get by Tiffany Johnson, who were the best freshmen in the country in that matchup. Berube didn't get any rim with that shot, and it's controlled by Tennessee. They lead by 1 with 6.5 remaining in the first half.
Jamel Elliott was the only white jersey underneath for Connecticut. You've got Walters and Lobo both sitting the bench. Connecticut just does not have the height advantage and the bodies to go to the offensive boards.
Tennessee running this offense out of the 1-4 set. Down to 5 to shoot. Milligan, blocking call, and a big break for Tennessee because it looked like Milligan had no place to go with 2 seconds on the shot clock. And now Rosati has 3 fouls. And she just turned and nodded to the bench as if to say, I know I have 3 fouls and leave me in, I won't get another.
Lady Vols definitely the aggressors on offense, going to the basket. I don't know where it's a 1-and-1.
Yes, it is. And Milligan makes the front end. Lori's a 65% free throw shooter. Made both. The Lady Vols by 3. Back to Minneapolis in a moment. Been sold out since last August for the women's national championship game. Tennessee has a 3-point lead, and Connecticut has trouble with fouls. Rebecca Lobo and Jen Rosati, 2 All-Americans with 3 fouls each. Tennessee's done a great job on the boards, resulting in a decided edge and second chance points. And in the first meeting this season, in the regular season game in January, Lobo fouled out in only 27 minutes of action. She was in foul trouble for much of that game. But you'd have to say, Ian, a big part of this story is the officials and how tightly they're calling things. There have been a lot of fouls, and it hasn't really been that physical a game, at least from our vantage point.
No, I don't think they've done too bad a job, but again, in the sense of letting them play, yeah, but that's why you need 3 officials. It makes things easier for everybody because they can see more of the court. And the other last game also, talking about the Tennessee-Connecticut game, Tennessee had 4 players in foul trouble. They had 3 with 4, and Latina Davis fouled out. So obviously the roles have reversed.
Connecticut shooting 56% to this point. Tennessee only 36%. But Tennessee has the ball in a 3-point lead. Tiffany Johnson missed from in close. McCray first on the free ball.
You can just see an orange crush, an orange wave going to the offensive boards.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. 15 seconds remain. They got a new 30 seconds. Johnson fouled. Count it.
Look at Marciniak, just turn it back, little back pass right there on bounce pass. Dana Johnson wide open. Connecticut not swinging on defense, and yeah, I like that one. Whoop-de-doo.
And it's 2 fouls on Nikisha Sales. Kara Walters is going to return for Connecticut. She has 2 fouls. And Jen Rosati goes to the bench. While Pat Summitt speaks with her point guard, Michelle Marciniak.
And she's made all the difference in the world this season. Last year when they lost to Louisiana Tech, they felt that, Pat Summitt felt that Michelle Marciniak was going to be her point guard. She wasn't sure about her personality. She's added personality to this team, and it's just made a whole world of difference on how this Lady Vols team goes.
No, it's starting to make a difference, but Lobo has been on the bench for a while. Tennessee's on a 10-2 run. And since Lobo left the game, it's 14-6 in favor of the Lady Vols. They lead by 6, their largest lead, 4:35 remaining in the first half.
And look at the kind of shots Connecticut has gotten with Lobo out of the game. There they get into trying for the lob. But again, Tennessee just really packing it in. The angle is real tough to get to Walters. Otherwise, Connecticut's taking the shots on the outside. They're really struggling in their half-court set.
And from our vantage point in, another bad omen for Connecticut. Kara Walters looks tired. She played a very strenuous game yesterday. She's the biggest player on the floor, and she's had a tough time moving to get passes that weren't right on the money. That pass wasn't right on the money from Marciniak, and Tennessee has turned it over now 7 times, 9 turnovers committed by Connecticut.
Well, I just think she's done a fabulous job as far as her career. She's lost 67 pounds since high school, got a personal trainer. A lot of people didn't recruit her. She did not want to go to Boston College to set things straight. That's what she told the paper. And even though that's where her dad went, she's very happy to be at Connecticut.
4 minutes remaining in the first half. Johnson the miss. And Sales garnered the rebound. Now Berube, sophomore from Oxford, Massachusetts in Central Mass. Well, his shot wouldn't go. Berube was fouled. Or was she? They're just going to say that the ball went out of bounds, and Connecticut will play it in.
But at least Connecticut got an offensive rebound.
Timeout. Tennessee has taken a 6-point lead. Thank you, Andrea. Connecticut to inbound. Sales has trouble getting it in, and Marciniak nearly had a steal. Berube to the baseline for the score from Sales. 3.5 remaining in the first half. Tennessee by 4. McCray blew right by the defense.
Got to get back on defense. Good play by Tennessee as far as after a basket, getting the ball very quickly out of bounds and getting it up court.
Walters trying to establish position in the lane. She's been in the lane a long time. Short with the shot. Berube kicks it out for a 3 from Sales. Walters able to tip it back out to Weber.
Yeah, you talked about Walters looking tired. The other thing is Tennessee is just bodying her up. They're just putting bodies all over, and that really wears you down, too.
And a chance for a 3-point play for Connecticut.
See Nikisha Sales gets the kick out. Little drive, little step to the middle. Nice little rotation on the ball. Talked about Nikki McCray, could probably run track in the SEC along with Latina Davis. Look at how quickly she gets down court, and they look down court for her because she's so fast.
We talk about playing 2 games in as many days. Nikki McCray always has the look that she could play a doubleheader in one day and not lose any of her speed or quickness. Foul on Tiffany Johnson was her second. Sales missed the free throw. She has 9 points, and Tennessee is up by 4. You're just joining us. Rebecca Lobo has spent most of this half on the bench with 3 fouls. Vonda Ward the miss. Mad scramble. And it'll be Connecticut ball. Abby Conklin did a great job to win the battle on the floor, and she thought it was a bad call on the sideline, an opinion shared by Pat Summitt.
You should have seen Pat Summitt's face. Boy, she had her hands on her hips and just like, what kind of call is that?
Pam Weber to take it slow. Would have been a 10-second to the backcourt call in men's basketball. He spent nearly 15 seconds before crossing over. And obviously, Geno would just like to see this half end with his team close and then take his chances when he can get Lobo and Rosati and Walters playing the number of minutes he wants them to play. And a shot clock violation.
Tennessee has gone into a 2-3 matchup zone. They're packing everything down, and Connecticut is not looking to penetrate. They're not getting the penetration. Jen Rosati and Pam Weber have to take advantage of that. Obviously, Rosati's out of the game, but if you don't get penetration and the defense dropping off on you, then you can't kick it out for an open shot and get it into your post. Connecticut is not running their offense.
As a result, they've only shot 27% since Lobo went out of the game. Conklin surrounded, lost the ball to Jamel Elliott. And again, Geno Auriemma tells Sales to slow it down. They won't kill as much time as they did last time because it resulted in a shot clock violation. Elliott had a steam, but McCray got a hand on the ball and now has it back from Marciniak. Nicky McCray missed the layup. He was having trouble getting the handle, and the shot was also contested.
Well, you don't see that too often, but Tennessee sure executed it.
And as Walters fielded the pass, she was shoved from behind, and she'll go to the line. The foul on Vonda Ward, her second.
There's a great lead pass, and Johnson just couldn't get a handle of it. She saw the defense, had a good angle, just didn't use the glass enough as far as getting a good bounce off it.
Carol Walters, averaging nearly 20 points and 7 rebounds per game in the tournament. She's a 67% free throw shooter. Doesn't shoot as many as you would think, based on her inside game and size. Only been to the line coming into today's game 85 times. She has 5 teammates who have attempted more free throws than she has.
Oh, you know, they never foul a big player.
That's right. Can't reach up there to foul her on the arm. At 6'7", Geno Auriemma says she's actually 6'8", although she's listed at 6'7". Nearly a minute to play now. 1:04 left in the first half. Tennessee by 3. Abby Conklin frames the 3. Her first points. She's a sophomore from Charlestown, Indiana. And an air ball set up by Weber. And then a blocking call against Nikisha Sales, and that's her third.
I tell you, Nikisha Sales looks like she gives Marciniak enough room. You've got to give him a step. We're going to see a replay on it, and Marciniak gets the ball. Nice outlet by Dana Johnson. Marciniak's going. She's got the step. Boom.
That's a bad call.
It's a bad call. Nikisha Sales is there. She's set. She gives Marciniak enough room to turn. Marciniak was already running, and as an offensive player, you've got to be set. You've got to know where the defense is on you. That's a tough call for Connecticut.
One-on-one opportunity. Marciniak missed the front end. Walters tipped it. And here comes Sales. Tennessee by 6. 40 seconds left in the half. Sales missed the 3. Foul on the rebound action. And it appears to be against Tennessee. It's against McCray, her first. 3 Huskies with 3 fouls. Lobo, Rosati, and Sales. Walters has 2. Thompson hasn't been seen or heard from since her 2 fouls early. Tiffany Johnson, Vonda Ward also have 2 for Tennessee.
Definitely the big story in this first half, Sean, because those are all key players. And Geno Auriemma said that, you know, the key players really have to play in this game, and you're looking forward to them being contributors. And Walters at least comes through right there, but she does have 2 personals.
And 6 points. And the shot clock is off. Tennessee can take the last shot of the half.
And really, with the Connecticut players out, the key players, look at how the Huskies have stayed with Tennessee.
I think, all things considered, Geno Auriemma will be happy if his team can go off down by 4. Given the foul trouble, particularly that to the National Player of the Year logo. Milligan scored with 4 seconds left. Connecticut couldn't get a last shot off. Geno Auriemma staring at the officials before walking off. At the end of the first half, the score, Tennessee 38, Connecticut 32.
And 2, they've got to negate Tennessee from getting second and third shots at the basket. Tennessee is controlling the boards and getting second shot points, and that's really hurting Connecticut.
Tennessee opens the second half with the ball and a 6-point lead. Marciniak knocks in a three, and Tennessee has its largest lead now, 9 points. 7 points in the game for Marciniak.
Well, coming out of that halftime, I got to get this in. Andrea Joyce just talked to Geno, and he said, tell my mother at home that she said the wrong prayer at halftime. Got to get things going here.
Pam Weber shut off as she tried to penetrate. Lobo does open the second half, as does Rosati. They get it into Walters. She has 8. And the lead is 7 for Tennessee. Nearly 1 minute played in the second half.
And Geno Auriemma is exactly right in what he told Dan. You've got to keep attacking and do what got you there. That's the reason that they are 34-0 going into this game.
Traveling the call. Elliott couldn't stay on her feet. Thompson backed off quickly, trying to avoid her third foul.
Connecticut gets a good defensive rebound. Feet get tangled, and they call the travel. I thought when the feet tangle, the defensive player, it's a foul.
In the first half, that certainly would have been a foul. Perhaps the officials talked amongst themselves at halftime. We certainly hope that they did about letting the young ladies play.
You know, the positive thing for Tennessee is Pat Summitt has felt that this has been a test all season long. They've been preparing for this last game, and they've played 36 games coming in, and those 36 games have added up to 40 minutes, which equal 24 hours. So they've played 24 hours to play 40 minutes, and they've got 20 minutes out of the way.
McCray couldn't get around Rosati. Tina Davis, she has 9, and that's the lead for Tennessee.
Tennessee's done a really good job as far as guarding Rosati and Weber, just putting the pressure on them, trying to keep the ball out of their hands.
Geno Auriemma admitted when his team fell behind against Virginia that they got scared. But they don't look scared now, maintaining their poise on their 2 possessions of this half, and they've done a good job getting it to Walters twice, and she has 10 points. Marciniak. Off the hands of Elliott. Fielded by McCray. 2 minutes gone by, second half. Tennessee by 7. Thompson. Walters had a hand on the ball for a while, and now a foul call.
That's where you need 3 officials. Walters got her hands all over the ball for about a count of 2, and there's no tie-up as far as the jump ball is called. They end up calling a foul. Look at Walters. Here's a jump ball right here, right here, right here. 2,
that's a long
3,
time, and did that foul?
4. Now they call a foul. How can you call a foul on that play? And that's why you got to have 3 officials.
Or at least 2 who are having a better day than these 2. Walters tips it out to Rosati. Weber. Guarded tightly by McCray. Rosati with 15 on the shot clock. Went by Davis. Got a pick from Lobo.
Great penetration by Rosati. She's got to do a little bit more of that. If she sees any kind of daylight, she's got to go.
17:20 remaining second half. Tennessee by 5. McCray, outstanding fake. Missed the shot. Got a hand on the rebound. UConn will play it in.
Well, Lobo gets great position, but it also blocks out Dana Johnson. Johnson not able to get to Rosati once she blows by the defense. And here on the other end, we're going to see Nikki McCray land right. She doesn't land on her knee. She's grabbing her knee, though. That's going to be a big loss for the Lady Vols.
She's had knee trouble in the past. As a matter of fact, she was sitting out in 91. The last time the Lady Vols made it to the Final Four, and she said while the team was playing in the championship game, she was having ACL surgery.
And she was a member of that team, and that's why it's really important. If you see her foot come down, there's her foot, but we're not.
This is like her knee
come down
came
on
out.
her foot, but look at her foot. Look at the knee, and it's got to be the knee.
Oh, you hate to see that. It had to be painful for her because it was painful to watch. Knee bending at an awkward angle. And there's been a lot of talk here with all the women's coaches from throughout the country in attendance about the rash of ACL knee injuries in the women's game.
It is. There just really hasn't been enough studies yet, Sean, and there's been a lot of theories, whether because of the build of women and also maybe because of the high pressure for athletes to train and because of the power that they exert on their bodies and the weight training, and there's just so many theories, and they're going to have to do a lot more studies.
Lobo launched a long three, races to keep it in. Elliott shut off by Conklin, stepped around her.
What a big-time move by Jamel Elliott.
The Tennessee lead is 3. They led by 6 at halftime. 16:30 remaining here in Minneapolis, and this crowd into the action today after 2 games yesterday that weren't very competitive. Connecticut has scored 6 straight points. Marciniak the miss. A 3-pointer would tie it for UConn.
Even if UConn does not score in a break situation, it is important for them to get a defensive rebound to set up their offense.
Lobo a miss. Strong rebound by Dana Johnson. Marciniak the push. And a blocking foul against Pam Weber. We'll return to the Women's National Championship game in a moment. Tennessee by 3. Just under 16 minutes remaining. At the conclusion of every NCAA game, we will select the Chevrolet players of the game. In conjunction with the award, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to the general scholarship fund of each school. And Nikki McCray is heading to the dressing room, and we'll get a report from Dan Bonner.
Sean, Dr. Greg Mathian, the team orthopedic surgeon, his initial diagnosis is a knee sprain. He's taken her back into the locker room, and they're going to examine it. They're still holding out the hope that she may return.
And obviously, that's a huge loss for Tennessee, the SEC Player of the Year, and one of the 5 finalists for National Player of the Year honors and award. Rosati after the steal, down the seam, and Mills. Elliott scores. Well, there was the heaviest collision of the day without a whistle, and we've had whistles for breathing on each other for most of the game.
Well, they let that one go. Latina Davis getting up a little slow, and Sales, strong player, 2 Tennessee players, bowling pins right there.
Well, we don't want to belabor the point, and we won't. McCray's back on the bench and nodding toward her teammates.
Well, this will be the last game of her career at UT.
Michelle Johnson. A 2-pointer from the corner and a 3-point edge for the Lady Volunteers, approaching 15 minutes remaining.
Jen Rosati is just the type of player that is the heart and soul of this Connecticut team, guts and soul as far as what she does, controlling the tempo, and she's really looking for her shot.
Whips it underneath for Elliott. Michelle Johnson controls. Now Milligan, who's giving Marciniak a breather, running the point. Milligan has it back from Davis, Ward, Dana Johnson, and Michelle Johnson, the rest of the 5-some for Tennessee. Latina Davis. Rebound Elliott in traffic. Rosati on the floor with Sales, Lobo, Walters, and Elliott. Big lineup on the floor for Connecticut. Walters powered in, missed a shot. Elliott travels.
Elliott's had bodies laid all over her, pushed down, tripped down, and she's been called for the travel.
Now G. Cantor pointing back at Geno Auriemma to say, sit down. Three-point lead for Tennessee. Connecticut has turned it over 13 times now to 10 committed by the Lady Vols. Nikki McCray, you can see her at the top right of your picture on the trampoline behind the bench trying to loosen up her legs. And 11 points now for Latina Davis. for the three, and she has 9.
Geno's telling Jen Rosati, take her, and she did.
And Nikki McCray has gone to the scores table to check back in after leaving with the knee injury moments ago. Michelle Johnson, she hits a three. And now the action is picking up and resembling what we expected for these two teams. Continuous action without the whistles has certainly helped.
Michelle Johnson doesn't get a lot of playing time, but when she comes in, she makes a difference for the Lady Vols.
And Latina Davis called for a bump on Rosati as she tried to drive, and that's 2 fouls on Latina. McCray returns. And because there are so many players on this Tennessee team that have had knee troubles, they have a mini trampoline.
And the trainer goes down.
And Pat Summitt called her safe.
Put her on that trampoline.
Section 2 along the baseline. The players bring the trampoline on the road trips and have it behind their bench at home so they can loosen up their knee joints before they go into the game.
Tennessee switching in the man-to-man, putting a lot of pressure.
Walters. Rattled out. Berube managed to get the rebound going over the back of the 5'6" Latina Davis. And Berube will shoot. And now decanter warning Pat Summitt to get back in the coach's box. 3 fouls on Vonda Ward.
Big difference in the second half for the Huskies as far as what they've done on the boards. Has kept them close.
Carla Berube made the first. She's a 68% free throw shooter. Made 1 out of 2. Dana Johnson rebounded the miss. Tennessee with the ball leading by 4. 12:43 remaining here in Minneapolis. The women's national championship game. Milligan didn't get the bounce. Rebound Lobo. And Lobo's been able to play this entire half without picking up a foul. She played only 8 minutes in the first half after 3 quick fouls.
Been pretty quiet on the offensive end, too. She had a 3-point shot that she missed.
Hasn't been able to get close to the basket. Walters had it bounce off. And a foul on the rebound action as Berube collided with Davis. And that's another foul called against Latina Davis.
Kara Walters was making those shots yesterday, as you said, Sean. A little tired, kind of missing the shots. Vonda Ward kind of limping, too. She's in a lot of pain. But Latina Davis getting called for the foul. She's trying to block out and just really bumps Berube out of the way. You're going to see the pass inside to Walters. Really don't see what happens to Ward, but look at Davis. Davis is just bumping, and Davis is the one that hits Vonda Ward.
And Ward is still in the game, but she's limping as they set up the out-of-bounds play. And Pat Summitt says, wait a minute, we want to get somebody in for her, and here comes Tiffany Johnson.
Ward might need help. She's going to do it on her own, but...
She took 2 or 3 steps toward the sideline and then stopped. Vonda's 6'6", a senior from Northfield, Ohio. Also member of the volleyball team at UT, a middle blocker.
They got to have somebody help her out there.
She's a sports management major at Tennessee, but says she wants to be a firefighter when her collegiate days are over.
You see Latina Davis really bumping Berube out of there, and we're going to catch, there you go, Davis right into Ward, but it must have been something inside that really got Vonda Ward.
Berube, a nice drive, then her shot was too high off the glass, and a foul against Connecticut as the ball came off the backboard. It's on Kara Walters, and that's 3 on Walters as they help Ward toward the runway at the end of the Tennessee bench.
You know, all season long, Connecticut has finished those shots, and they're not finishing the shots in this game, whether it be they're tired or whether they're getting bumped by Tennessee or intimidated by them. They're just having a tough time finishing their shots.
McCray, and a foul, and if that's on Walters, it's her 4th. And it is.
Total frustration. And she's frustrated the kind of calls she's been called called for it because she feels that she has been bumped all game long and nothing's been called.
TV timeout with 11:53 remaining. 4 fouls on Walters and a 4-point lead for Tennessee.
See, with a 4-point lead over Connecticut, and we're going to see Carol Walters trying to go up for the rebound, but she tries to slap it away, which she's been trying to do. She gets called for a 4th foul, and that was a good call.
Yes, it was. She got foul 3 and 4 in a span of 16 seconds. And Dana Johnson hits the shot for Tennessee that has made it 52-46 in favor of the Lady Vols. 11:40 remaining. Sean McDonough, Ann Myers, Dan Bonner, Andrea Joyce, and Cheryl Swoop. Happy to have you with us from Minneapolis. Rebecca Lobo now with 8 points, well below her average of 17 a game.
And you definitely have to get the player of the year involved in your offense.
Walters on the bench with 4 fouls. Tried to knock it inside in Milligan, and Jamel Elliott intercepted. Tennessee by 4.
Good pressure defense.
Nice offense as well. Elliott hit Lobo, and UConn's back within 2.
When the Huskies keep cutting to the basket, they get an open player. When they get standing around, nothing's going to happen for them.
McCray guarded by Berube. Milligan has Rosati watching her. 10 on the shot clock. McCray. Beautiful shot. And a 4-point lead for Tennessee. Nikki McCray has 7 points. Elliott by the lob for Lobo, and it was too high. And Marciniak is coming back in for Tennessee after a lengthy breather.
They get the pass to Elliott, and a good cut by Lobo. Johnson not quick enough to stay with her on the outside, and Lobo just cuts to the basket. Nice backdoor. Trying to get some energy up on that bench and get the starters out there, the 5 that are playing, some spunk into them.
Nearly midway through the second half now. Great pass, McCray into Dana Johnson. And with 10 minutes remaining in the second half, Tennessee leads by 6. Sales was fouled by Marciniak, and that's 2 on Michelle.
Tennessee getting good penetration. Nikki McCray with a nice pass inside to Dana Johnson. And Johnson has been finishing those inside shots all game long for herself.
Let's check in again with Dan Bonner. Dan?
Thank you, Sean. Vonda Ward is coming back to the Tennessee bench, but she's limping badly, and she's got an ice bag. The initial diagnosis here is a twisted knee. They don't know whether she'll be able to come back or not.
Thank you, Dan. Great to see McCray back in, because the way her knee buckled when she went down, it didn't look like we'd see her again.
And what a difference she's made since she's been in the game for the Lady Vols.
Sales short with a second free throw. Tennessee leads by 5. McCray not slowed down at all by the momentary knee problem as she was running the floor.
But you saw how quickly Tennessee was able to get the ball up the right side of the court.
McCray shot short. Now she's on the floor with Elliott. Held ball. Connecticut will play it in.
Pat Summitt worked with her team on that 1-hour practice they had this morning as far as if they were going to run. They were going to look to get the ball up the right side. They call that the tomahawk chop. Just kind of run it up that sideline.
Tennessee now with 19 straight years of 20 wins or more under Pat Summitt.
Tennessee back in that zone. They want their hands up high, so they force a bounce pass.
Lobo for 2. And she's starting to pick it up. She has 12. Back to a 3-point lead for the Lady Volunteers.
yesterday against Stanford. Geno Auriemma took her out of the game early with like 2 minutes. Said, look to shoot the ball. You're not shooting enough. You're being too unselfish.
Walters playing with 4 fouls. Marciniak missed a shot. Walters the rebound. A three-pointer would tie the game for Connecticut. UConn trying to finish the season with a national championship and with an undefeated record. Texas at 86, the only team in history to go through the entire year and win the national championship without a loss. Lobo didn't get the bounce. Johnson, the big rebound for Tennessee. Now Marciniak looks to Pat Summitt, who's holding up 2 fingers and calling the play. Right into Tiffany Johnson. They go at Walters, who has 4 fouls. Walters couldn't move. And Tennessee takes advantage.
Well, Walters did a good job the first time she stood there, but then you got to turn around and get the rebound.
First points for Tiffany Johnson. Lobo. And she's performing like the National Player of the Year at the moment. Almost single-handedly helping her team match baskets at this point in the game with Tennessee.
Well, the thing is, for UConn, they can't match baskets. They've got to get a string going.
7:25 remaining. 10 on the shot clock. And McCray down on the floor again and slow to get up as Rosati lays it in. It's a 1-point game. And McCray is back on her feet. And the big group from Connecticut that has made the trip to Minneapolis making plenty of noise. The #1 team in the country back within 1. 7:01 remaining. Back to the women's national championship game in a moment.
Defense is the key for any team to be successful, and there you see a bad pass, and Rosati with a little hand slap to McCray, but this is a big turnaround for Connecticut as far as getting a turnover like that and capitalizing, and they've got to have more down the stretch to get any kind of lead.
They're on a 7-2 run to get back within 1. 7:01 remaining. Tennessee has 2 timeouts left now after calling one to try to stop the Connecticut momentum. Marciniak, McCray, Davis, Thompson, and Tiffany Johnson on the floor right now for Tennessee. Latina Davis. Tracked down by Berube. Sales one-on-one with Marciniak. Sales for the lead. Short. Sales got it back, and then a foul call. It's on Tiffany Johnson, her 3rd. Carol Walters, who had 31 yesterday against Stanford, has 10 today, saddled with 4 fouls for UConn. And Tennessee had the rebounding edge at halftime, but Lobo been able to play this entire half. And now it's UConn with a 2-rebound edge overall.
Good balanced scoring by the Lady Vols, and UConn has stepped up their rebounding.
The last lead for Connecticut was at 23-21. They could take the lead with a score on this trip. Lobo. It bounces off. And as Davis corralled the rebound, a foul called. And it's on Jamel Elliott, her 2nd.
Lobo does a good job working one-on-one, steps underneath the defense and just can't finish the shot. It doesn't go in for her, and all of a sudden they call the foul. Good blocking out by Tennessee.
Vonda Ward on that trampoline we spoke of moments ago, trying to get her knee loose. Out of bounds, Connecticut ball. Dee Cantor had plenty of help with the call right in front of the Tennessee bench, but they couldn't sway her.
Pat Summitt just kind of sat down on that one.
Turnovers just about even now. 14 committed by Connecticut, 13 by Tennessee. Tennessee has a 1-point lead with 6 minutes left.
Good double team by Tennessee. They're looking to trap.
Sales in trouble. And it's finally taken away by McCray. Marciniak missed the layup. Elliott Tried to rip it away. She goes down. Davis is trying to grab the ball, and Rosati steps in to tell Elliott, hey, the last thing we want you to do now is retaliate or go after her. And the foul is on Latina Davis.
What a heads-up call, though, by Pat Summitt. Double teaming and trapping, putting the pressure on Nikisha Sales. And they just kind of lose the touch right there. Marciniak looks like she gets the layup, but it just doesn't go high enough. And then there's a mad scramble, and they go after Elliott, and there's more bodies falling, which we've seen most of the game.
And Latina Davis has 4 fouls. Tennessee now over the limit. Connecticut is going to call for 5 here in the second half. The officials, to their credit, have not been as active in calling fouls here in the second half. And Elliott made the first of a 1-and-1 to tie the game at 58. UConn even for the first time in the second half.
Elliott is the best free throw shooter on this UConn team, 82%. But that's where it's going to win or lose it for any team, is the free throw line down the stretch.
Passion Thompson takes a seat. Dana Johnson has returned. And Elliott has a chance to give Connecticut its first lead since the first half when they led 23-21. With 8:19 remaining in the half. Fourth lead change. UConn by 1. Davis. McCray. And now Marciniak, 20 on the shot clock. 5.5 minutes left in the second half. Ten to shoot. Marciniak. 3 on the shot clock. Marciniak for 2. McCray came flying in, but Lobo ripped it away. Rosati had some room, but didn't see Davis and McCray sticking up from behind. Diving on the floor, Davis and Rosati held ball, and Tennessee gets it on the alternating possession with 5:03 remaining.
Look at Jen Rosati. She just is off and running. She used the offensive player, Tiffany Johnson, was just standing there, but the ball gets knocked loose, and great hustle and guts by Jen Rosati. One of the reasons she wears those knee pads.
Foul trouble, a story from the very early moments of this game. Walters and Davis have 4. 4 other players have 3. Lobo has not been called for a foul here in the second half. He had 3 fouls with 12:50 remaining in the first half. Tennessee down 1. Dana Johnson didn't get it up to the rim. Another scramble and another held ball. And this time, Connecticut will inbound.
This is a good play by Tennessee, and you talked about the foul trouble as far as Connecticut's concerned, and they have tried to get the ball inside of their big players to try and get those other fouls against UConn.
Tennessee over the limit in fouls. Connecticut has only been called for 5, and now the arrow points for Tennessee. Marubi. Connecticut has only played 7 players today. Marubi and Sales have come off the bench. And that's all for Geno Auriemma. Connecticut calls a timeout. Each team has 2 remaining. Back to the national championship after this. Following the timeout by Connecticut, each team has 2 left. UConn has a 1-point lead, 4:28 remaining, and Connecticut will inbound. In this battle of the 2 best teams in the country this season, it's heading right down to the wire. Tennessee actually ranked number 3 in the final AP poll. Colorado number 2. But Colorado was eliminated in the regional finals by Georgia, and a foul called against Dana Johnson, her second.
I really see these last 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Defense obviously going to be the key, and Dana Johnson knocked the ball away from Walters, but then she gets called for the foul. Also, as far as who's going to execute and take care of the basketball on the offensive end, and rebounds. Rebounds been really the game all, or what has been going on in this game all game long.
Tennessee had the lead in the first half when they had the rebound edge, and then Connecticut, with Lobo back in the game, has been winning the battle of the boards here in the second half to reclaim the lead. 1-1 for Sale. Didn't get the bounce. Started to go down, but then popped back out. Marciniak in for Tiffany Johnson. The freshman was fouled, and she'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Baby T, her first bucket of the game. She makes a nice little move inside, goes to the middle, goes up against Elliott. They call it on the arm, and she finishes the shot off. Good, strong play by Tiffany Johnson, one of the Johnson & Johnson girls.
They have three players named Johnson. Fifth lead change. Now it's Tennessee by 2. Tiffany Johnson, just the third freshman ever to start the first game of her career at Tennessee for Pat Summitt, the first to do it since 1985. Pat thinks she has a chance to be one of the best players ever at Tennessee if she works hard. And confusion about substitutes. Walters returns. She has 4 fouls. Carla Berube has gone to the bench. It's Walters, Lobo, Elliott, Sales, and Rosati for Connecticut. McCray, Marciniak, Davis, Dana Johnson, and Tiffany Johnson for the University of Tennessee. 4 minutes remaining in the national championship game. Rosati trying to lob it in. Walters couldn't grab it. She was being defended by Tiffany Johnson.
Well, Walters had the footwork yesterday. She just can't get to the passes today. Good setup play by Jen Rosati, but better defense by Tennessee.
And 17 turnovers now by Connecticut. And Connecticut settles into a zone, trying to protect the players in foul trouble, most notably Walters with 4 in the middle. With 5 on the shot clock, Tiffany Johnson the miss. Dana Johnson a miss. And it's controlled by Jamel Elliott. 2 to tie, 3 for the lead for Connecticut. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the national championship game. Walters bounces off to Dana Johnson. Lobo looks exhausted as she tries to get back into the play.
And Dana Johnson is just pounding her down at the post position.
Tiffany Johnson lost the handle. It was scooped up by Sales. 2:45 remaining, Tennessee by 2. And Geno Auriemma calls timeout. He has 1 left. Tennessee leads by 2, 2:40 remaining. Connecticut has gone cold. They've been without a field goal now over the last 4 minutes and 29 seconds. And they have 1 timeout left. After the timeout just called by Coach Auriemma, the next foul will put Connecticut over the limit. And it'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Tennessee. 2 to tie, 3 for the lead for UConn with 2.5 minutes remaining. Under 10 on the shot clock. Elliott ties the game with 2:20 left. Marciniak, they set up a 1-4 set again. It's Marciniak with McCray, Dana Johnson, Tiffany Johnson, and Latina Davis. McCray wide open, along with it. Rosati, Marciniak the defender. Rosati all the way to the bucket for the lead. McCray, Dana Johnson, Tennessee down 2. Out of bounds, Connecticut will play it in, 1:41 left.
Jen Rosati, the play of the game so far.
And Tennessee raced back up the floor. A bit hurried, trying to tie it. Got it in to Dana Johnson, but she couldn't get the shot to go. It's Sales, the freshman, bringing it up against Marciniak. Connecticut leads 63-61. 15 to shoot. They tried a tough pass for Rosati. McCray knocked it out of bounds. 12 seconds on the shot clock for UConn.
They ran a nice play. Most teams, it might work again, but when you got Nikki McCray guarding you, but watch Jen Rosati take off. Michelle Marcinia gets back, and Rosati goes to the left side. She gets bumped a little bit, and under control, nice left-handed layup.
10 to shoot. Rosati nearly lost it. Kept it alive for Sale. Shot clock running out. Lobo has to shoot. And that didn't get rimmed. Therefore, it's a shot clock violation. It has to hit the rim. The officials confer to make sure they're correct, and they are. So Tennessee has it back with 1:10 left. 2 to tie, 3 for the lead.
Well, they were really rushed. Nikisha Sales, a freshman who's been handling the ball, she's got to be more offensive-minded to be aggressive and take that shot, and she's looking to pass it, and that's why Connecticut's being forced in that situation to put one up at the last second.
A great season for women's college basketball and a great finish upcoming for the women's national championship game. Davis for the lead. Missed everything. UConn will play it in with 55 seconds left. And again, Tennessee went for a quick shot. Davis has only attempted 33 three-point shots all year. Rosati shoved, and she is under the press table. And she's right in front of us, so we can hear her telling her teammates, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Well, you see Rebecca Lobo. Lobo's got to take advantage and be under control as far as taking the ball. Rosati really did not have a good opportunity to get the ball off that pass. She was out of control. She's cutting the baseline. She's fortunate that the foul is called, but Lobo and the seniors on this team have to be a little bit more confident in handling the ball against the pressure defense of Tennessee.
Fouls on McCray, her second. Rosati. Her link to the floor layup, the difference in the game at the moment. And she calmly makes the front end of the 1-and-1 to give UConn a 3-point lead. 47 and a half seconds left.
Well, it certainly would be a Cinderella season for UConn. A lot of people didn't think that they had it in them as far as the kind of conference they played in or the preseason schedule. But they're proving it.
The lead is 4. Timeout, Tennessee. 1 timeout left for the Lady Vols. Back for the final 43.7 in a moment. The Connecticut band playing a happy tune at the moment. Their team leads by 4. And Jen Rosati is the most popular person in the Nutmeg State at the moment. Her layup from about three-quarter court all the way to the bucket gave them a 2-point lead. Her 2 free throws have given them a 4-point lead. Tennessee's ball, 40 seconds left in the national championship game in regulation play. Rosati pestering Marciniak. Marciniak was fouled by Lobo. And that's her 4th. And that's a break for Marciniak, who was a bit out of control in the lane, was throwing up an awkward one-handed shot on the run. And Lobo called for the foul.
Well, she did not get anything on the shot. She's a big player to have at the free throw line. Of course, tournament play, she has not been shooting great from the free throw line, but she's a clutch player.
4 fouls on Lobo. Marciniak has only attempted 1 free throw today, and she missed it. For the season, she's 74% from the line. Her grandmother, Louise Park, and her parents are here from Pennsylvania. Best to your mom, right to your dad, 1 out of 2. Rebound Lobo, she's surrounded and fouled.
What a big-time rebound by Rebecca Lobo, the player of the year. You know, so many people think, well, that player of the year has got to score all these points and rebounds, which she does do that, but she is such an unselfish player. She's a great passer, and I think that's one of the things that is overlooked by her as a player, and she can shoot the 3, but what a big-time rebound, and she gets swarmed by a lot of orange jerseys. She's going to go to the free throw line.
3rd foul on Marciniak. Lobo 4 for 4 from the line today. For the year, 66%.
And give her credit, too, as far as picking up the 3 personal fouls. And there's her mom and dad watching, and did not pick up that 4th till 30-something seconds left in this second half. Shows you what a smart player she is.
And made the front end of the 1-and-1 to push the lead back to 4. She has 15 points in her final game at Connecticut. .9 seconds left. Connecticut by 5. Mrs. Lobo, who said that Rebecca's basketball kept her going while she fought breast cancer, hoping that her daughter is now 29 seconds away from finishing an outstanding career with the national title. McCray hurries a 3. It wouldn't go. Abby Conklin is checked in, and she reaches in. 22 seconds left, and Connecticut returns to the free throw line. Conklin committed the foul her first. And we remind you, it does not go to a double bonus, even at 10-team fouls. It's a 1-and-1 once you're over the limit in women's college basketball. .22 seconds left. Connecticut by 5. 1-and-1 for Lobo, who's 6 of 6 from the line today. And Dana Johnson was in the lane early. Huge break for Connecticut. Lobo missed it. Perhaps distracted by Dana Johnson, bottom left of your picture, who was in the lane much too soon.
Maybe a lack of concentration by Johnson and giving up a little bit.
And Lobo capitalizes. And certainly Tennessee has to hurry and think about the three-point shot. Walters on the verge of tears on the Connecticut bench.
I mean, what a better game. 1 and 2 in the country.
Lobo missed. The lead is 6. Tennessee must hurry. Marciniak. Long 3. Tiffany Johnson with the rebound. 10 seconds left as she scores to cut the Connecticut lead to 4. 10.5 seconds remaining. And Tennessee is out of timeout. Back for the finish from Minneapolis in a moment. The UConn Huskies huddling with 10.5 seconds remaining. They hope that they are 10.5 seconds away from their first national championship in women's basketball. Tennessee is out of timeouts. The arrow points for Tennessee if it's an issue. It would be the 4th national championship in the history of the University of Connecticut in all sports. The men's soccer team won it all in 1981, and the field hockey team in 81 and 85 won national titles.
The biggest thing is for UConn to take care of the basketball, get it in against this pressure defense, because I'm sure that Tennessee will foul right away.
They go for the quick steal of the foul. They elect for the long pass, and Berube is fouled by Michelle Johnson.
Thought they almost messed that up. Berube stopped running, and I thought that ball was going to go over her head.
So it'll be Carla Berube to shoot a 1-and-1 with 9.9 seconds left. That took less than a second off the clock. Berube is 1 out of 3 from the free throw line today. And she hopes about to be a champion again. Conklin returns. We told you yesterday about Berube's amazing run. The teams on which she has played since her sophomore year in high school are 138 wins and 4 losses. Won 2 state high school championships in Massachusetts, and has just helped her team take another step toward the national championship at the University of Connecticut.
I think Geno Auriemma's mom has said a few more prayers that have helped Geno's team today.
6-point lead. Davis has a long way to dribble as they inbounded the ball 85 feet from the basket. 4-3 from the corner, no good. UConn has won the national championship. And they've done it in perfect fashion at 35-0.